Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Digital Navigator Training, Building Digital Navigator. I think everyone is here from last session. Welcome. We are very excited to talk about today's second session. Time flies when you're having fun, they say. And the second session is Closing the Gap, Digital Equity Services in Connecticut. If you have any questions or you want to share anything, feel free to use the chat. And I'll be moderating the chat if you need it. We have Mary Kate Haverly, which is our technology specialist at Digital A2DN, wealth of knowledge, and she'll be leading us in this presentation. Thank you very much, Mary Kate, for presenting.
Oh, sure. Good morning, everybody. I'm excited to be here. All right, and thank you for being here today and for all of the incredible work that you do as digital navigators. I know how committed you are in supporting adult learners across Connecticut, and I'm excited to have this opportunity to talk about something that's at the core of what we do, which is digital equity. Perfect. All right, so let's start by talking about what we mean when we say digital equity. Digital equity is the idea that all individuals and communities should have the technology capacity they need to fully participate in society, democracy, and the economy. And it's not just about whether someone has a device or an internet connection, but they also need to have the skills, the support, and the confidence to use those tools effectively. So now, why is digital equity so important for the adult learners that we work with? Well, in today's world, everything from job applications to healthcare to education and civic participation has moved online. And the reality is that many of the learners that we serve face serious barriers when it comes to accessing these resources. For example, without a reliable internet connection, devices, or digital skills, they're at a huge disadvantage. And that only widens with existing inequalities. As adult educators and digital navigators, we see this every day. Many of our learners are juggling work and family and other responsibilities. So having access to digital tools and skills is critical for them to continue their education, improve their job prospects, and manage their daily lives. And this is where your role as digital navigators come in. You're not only providing access to technology, but also empowering learners to use the tools in a way that improves their lives. So whether it's someone learning how to navigate an online job portal or access educational resources, your work really can be truly life-changing. But we know that there's still a lot to do in terms of closing the gaps and ensuring equitable access for all learners. And that's what today is all about. We're going to spend some time reflecting on specific digital equity challenges in your agencies or communities. And through this activity, we're going to identify barriers that your learners face, resources you already have, and gaps that still need to be addressed. And it's a chance for us to take a closer look at the current landscape and think about how we can improve our support moving forward. So to kick things off, we're going to be using Mentimeter to reflect on some of the key questions related to digital access, available resources, and community gaps. And then your responses will help us get a clearer picture of what's working and where we need to focus more attention. So let's dive in, and give me just one second. I'll switch my screen here to present our Mentimeter activity. Thank you. Okay, hopefully that did its job and everyone can now see our Mentimeter activity. I think Jose shared the link and it's also there as a QR code or you have the room code. So our first question here is, what are the most common barriers your learners face accessing digital tools or the internet? I think you have the option of putting up to three different things that come to mind. I love that right at the heart of this word cloud right here is accessibility and confidence. That's really, I think, kind of poetic as we build out this word cloud here. What a wonderful list that we have here. Although also, a hard list. Excellent. I think fear is a really interesting one to add on this list. That really kind of struck me. So of course, there's a lot of fear of kind of the unknown and what you don't know, and how to overcome that. Excellent. All right. Okay, just one more second, and then I'll move on to our next question. All right. Let's move on to our next one here. Sorry, some of my Zoom tools are in the way. Okay, let's go on. Make that bigger again. All right, our second question, which resources or tools do you lack that would help your learners' digital needs? Interesting. Digital literacy training is hitting an early lead here. Looks like we have a tie between devices, internet access, and technical support as well. Interesting. Okay. Cool. Let's go on to our next one. Internet access just took the lead. Or second place. All right, we're going to move on to our next question. What technology resources are available to you or your learners? We do have a big list here, and you can rank these from not available to readily available. I think on a 5-point scale of where you feel that those resources are available to you or your learners. Awesome. And again, so we are going to really build our presentation off of discussing many of these resources and what is available. So especially for some of these resources that you feel that you don't have, hopefully by the end of today, you feel a bit more empowered of knowing where to look for particular resources, especially with the community or the individuals that you're helping. And also wonderful that maybe you're already familiar with some of the resources that we do have in our community, such as our public library services. Awesome. I think we have one more question on our list today. So we'll go to our next and final question, which is, what gaps in services or resources do you notice in your community, that if addressed could improve digital access for learners? All right, as the answer is starting to populate here. Wonderful, awesome list. This is really kind of thinking about the one big thing, right? If we could, maybe just this one big thing could make a big difference. It looks like we have a really great list. Absolutely. All right, awesome list, everybody. I'm glad we kind of our brains warmed up to what some of the challenges are, what our needs are, because that's what we're going to focus on today. And my goal for all of us here is that hopefully we can walk away from this presentation with some new resources, some new places to look, or maybe feeling a bit more empowered to solve some of the challenges that you may be experiencing as a digital navigator. Awesome. Thank you everyone for sharing your thoughts today. That was a great little warm up. That's an interesting one. A tech room in a public center where residents could sign up and practice with latest technology. It's a cool idea. All right, excellent. So we're going to continue on in our presentation. And I think we're back to looking at my screen here, but do let me know that if we are not back on my presentation slides. Let me know. You should be seeing here the comprehensive strategies for achieving digital equity.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, thank you. There's so many screens going on at once. I just want to make sure it's following me throughout this presentation. Thank you. All right, so this next part of our presentation is going to focus on 4 comprehensive strategies for achieving digital equity, which are a highly functional computing device, dependable and robust broadband connectivity, which we talked a bit about in our last session, technical support, and digital literacy skills. So we're going to go ahead and start breaking those pieces down. Let's start with one of the first components of digital equity, which is access to a highly functional computing device. It's not enough for learners to just have any device. They need access to devices that are capable of running essential applications smoothly. So first, we need to ensure device accessibility. And this means making sure that all learners, whether they're in a classroom or learning remotely, or at their home trying to access some of the community resources, they have access to laptops or tablets or desktops that can handle multimedia tasks like videos or video conferencing, or productivity tools like word processors or spreadsheets. But access isn't enough if the quality of those devices is lacking, meaning devices must support these critical applications without freezing or lagging. Because imagine, or we know, we've all been in that situation, right? That how frustrating it is for a learner when their video calls constantly drop or their device can't run the software they need for class. And I know we've all been there. And I know that my patience for maybe an extra 1 second lag is pretty low. So I can imagine if it was more than that, how truly frustrating it would be. And finally, affordability is a major barrier for many learners. Programs that offer affordable or free devices like loaner programs or refurbished device distribution are essential for students in low income or underserved communities. So these programs can be a game changer in helping learners stay connected and engaged. All right. Next, a major factor is dependable and robust broadband connectivity, because even the best device is limited without reliable internet connections. So for many learners, affordable broadband is out of reach, which is why it's critical to help them secure a low-cost internet plan through partnerships with service providers. Unfortunately, the Affordable Connectivity Program, or ACP, ended this past summer, which is making finding or securing low-cost internet a bit harder to find. But it is out there, and we're going to work through some of those challenges in just a minute. But affordability isn't the only issue. Reliable infrastructure is just as important. We need to make sure that learners have access to strong high-speed internet, whether they're at home or public spaces like libraries. A slow or unreliable connection can be incredibly disruptive to learning. And without internet at home, exploring community Wi-Fi solutions like mobile hotspots or Wi-Fi at learning centers or even community Wi-Fi networks can help in providing access to participate fully in online learning environments. Another critical piece of digital equity is providing learners with ongoing technical support. That learners will inevitably face technical issues, whether it's trouble with the device or figuring out how to use new software. And that's why consistent access to tech support, whether it be through your staff or partnerships with local organizations or even volunteer-run help desks, is essential. And this is where Digital Navigator programs come in. These programs offer personalized support, helping learners with low digital literacy overcome tech challenges they face, and hopefully guiding them step by step through this process. This can be a direct and very effective way to bridge that gap between access and usability. And it's also important to consider the availability of tech support or technical support in multiple languages. Again, I think we hit on this in our previous presentation, but providing that multilingual tech support ensures that language barriers don't prevent learners from getting the help they need. And finally, we can't talk about digital equity without addressing digital literacy skills. And I know through our Menti presentation, you guys put this really high on the list. And that's because it's not enough to just simply give learners devices and internet access, but they need to know how to use them effectively. And this starts by teaching the essential digital skills, from navigating the internet to using productivity software and engaging in online learning environments. The foundational skills enable learners to fully participate in today's world. And we also want to build learners' capacity for critical thinking or online research, helping them understand how to find credible information online, evaluate the sources, or finding online tools and content also empowers them to be independent and informed and confident in using technology. And lastly, learners need to be equipped with the cybersecurity awareness, teaching them how to protect their personal information, recognizing phishing scams, or practicing safe online behaviors will also greatly reduce their vulnerability to digital threats. So now that we've discussed the key elements of digital equity, let's take a look at some of the key resources that can help support your efforts in closing the digital divide. I have grouped these resources according to categories that you will see on the slide in front of you, and we'll explore these more in depth later. But for now, I want to give you a brief overview of some of the resources that are available in Connecticut. So we are going to kick off with our local digital equity networks. So these networks include partnerships and initiatives right here in Connecticut designed to help you connect the right people and programs to support your learners. One key resource is the Digital Equity Partnerships in Connecticut and their interactive resource map, which you can access through the link here on the slide. I'm going to pull that up in just a second. This network brings together organizations working towards equitable access to technology and digital skills for all. So let's see. Oops. One, two. Let's see if that's going to connect. Here it is. All right. So you will notice that each of these dots on the map will represent a resource center. Typically, these are libraries, but also lists all of the available resources and support options available to support digital equity in their community. So as I randomly selected one, I landed on the Plainville Public Library. And as we scroll down here, it asks a few essential questions. Is Wi-Fi access out? Is there Wi-Fi access inside the building? Yes. Devices inside, desktop computers, Chromebooks. Devices for use outside the library, Chromebooks and hotspots. So that's interesting. They might have the ability for people to check out a hotspot. Again, it goes down to talk about tech skills training, digital literacy training options available, or if there's also help in finding the cost broadband registration. So again, a really wonderful map. You can zoom in, you can look around access options in your community. And I think this is a really very cool resource, first of all. There's a lot of work put into this. So hats off to the individuals that did this. And if you have any questions, specific questions about any of these, please feel free to put them in the chat. I know Jose is monitoring our chat right now. He's a wealth of information on a lot of these as well, or can stop me where we are if there's anything that we need to dig into a little bit further. And Jose, just feel free to say, MK, pause. So we will continue on to our next option here. Next, we have several service providers that offer programs specifically designed to close the digital divide. And these providers were selected due to their range of the range aimed at improving digital access for learners and families. And I double checked that these are available in Connecticut. All right, our first provider, T-Mobile's Project 10 Million, provides free internet and mobile hotspots. So if you were looking for hotspots to be available, this might be a good option, but it does come with a caveat that I'll get to. Along with, they also offer access to affordable laptops and tablets it can be a game changer for learners without home internet access. Cox Communications has the Connect to Compete, and that is another option that is offering low-cost internet services and online training resources. The most important piece to note here that both of these providers are aimed at supporting K-12 students who qualify for federal support programs, such as, for example, the National School Lunch Program. Obviously, we're not K-12 educators, but if there are children in the household, these could be two fantastic resources. So that might be a very important question to ask, as these are really strong options that are available. If there are not, of course, children in the household, these next two resources are not solely focused on K-12 students or families. Comcast Internet Essentials not only offer low-cost broadband, but also offer low-cost refurbished computers and digital literacy training, ensuring that learners can get connected and stay connected. That's their goal. Frontier's Lifeline program also provides low-cost broadband to qualifying residents, helping them get online through the Federal Lifeline Initiative. And this program is also available only to individuals or families that participate in one or more federal assistance programs. That is going to be a common theme here. If individuals are qualifying for these federal assistance programs, then there's a pretty good chance that they are going to be able to qualify for many of these programs that are that I'm putting up on the screen. I don't think I mentioned this later on. Frontier's Lifeline program is also a great resource if they need access to phone or phone connections. Frontier does offer that as well. All right, we are going to shift a little bit to something that I called search engines. To help you locate the right tools and services, we have these two websites. I refer to them as search engines because they can help guide you to find local programming. These platforms aim to bridge, again, the digital divide by connecting users to resources tailored to their specific needs, or specifically what services they may qualify for, promoting greater access to essential technology or learning opportunities. So our first search engine, which is EveryoneOn, offers a searchable list of broadband and device programs by zip code, making it easier to find what's available in your area. They also have a knowledge center that includes digital, financial, and literacy training. What I like about EveryoneOn is that it asks specific questions about federal programs that each person or family might qualify for. And based on what you check off, it will give you back a list of local or national resources that fit those descriptions that you put in. Digital Wish is another resource that helps schools secure digital tools through donations and grants. It is also partnered with a lot of these federal programs to make sure that there is the ability to access hotspots or devices or low-cost internet. However, it's primarily focused on K-12. However, its fundraising tools and wireless program search engine may have broader applications, including providing wireless hotspots to schools. So while it's not a perfect fit, there are some applications that would be appropriate for adult education. All right. Our next category is national digital access programs. So these are larger scale initiatives aimed at reducing the digital divide across the entire country. And I've selected these two options to highlight that work to ensure that low income individuals and families have access to technology and skills. So the two that I've selected here, the first is Human IT. And Human IT offers low cost devices, internet access, digital skills training, providing underserved communities with the tools they need to participate in the digital world. The other one, PCs for People, is another great nonprofit that provides affordable computers, internet services, and digital literacy support to low income individuals and families, also helping to bridge that gap. Both of these programs are excellent options for providing essential technology and digital literacy skills to learners who may be struggling to access them. All right, and we have mentioned digital literacy throughout some of the other programming involved, but let's take a look at some of the key digital literacy resources that we have available, or these are focused specifically more on digital literacy. These platforms offer free tools and courses to help learners build essential digital skills, which are a critical part of digital equity. You likely, hopefully, have heard about North Star Digital Literacy, as many agencies throughout Connecticut have also already partnered with them. If you have any questions on that, again, hit Jose in the chat because he is our guru on North Star. But we'll first jump into GCF Global. It's a fantastic resource that provides free self-paced courses on a wide range of digital literacy skills. And these tutorials are anything from basic computer use to navigating the internet to Microsoft Office or Google tools. And the platform is especially useful for learners who need to build foundational skills and gain confidence using technology in their everyday lives. The lessons are easy to follow, can be accessed anytime, and really make it flexible for learners to practice on their own schedule. Most importantly, it has the capability of translating the website into several different languages, as well as offering resources in a variety of languages. And here's North Star. The North Star Digital Literacy Platform is another invaluable tool. North Star offers interactive assessments and self-guided modules that focus on key digital skills, including basic computer use, internet safety, using email, productivity software. But what's unique about North Star is that learners can earn certificates upon successfully completing assessments, which can be a great motivator and credential for learners to seek employment. They can show that they're proficient in these tools. And at this time, nearly all of the lessons, or again, Jose, you might have more specific, I think it's almost all the lessons and assessments are available in both English and Spanish. So you might be asking yourself, which resources is best, or where to start, or what to explore first? And I did hit you with a lot of information. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by that information, or the limitations of each resource, or feeling anxious about keeping them all straight, I hear you. And to help you navigate the resource that I provided what I am affectionately calling our digital equity resource flowchart. And my goal is that the questions, is that asking questions either about digital literacy, or if there's K-12 students in the household, or any specific digital equity resource, you can quickly locate the resources that we discussed here today. So we're going to practice with this in just a bit. Let's see if I can grab my share link just so you have it. I'm going to put this in the chat. All right. And while I do that here, this is a good quick place to pause. Jose, any questions that this is a good pausing place? Any specific questions about any of the resources here today, or comments or suggestions or anything?
No specific there was a link question about the resources
Mhm.
like from the map, but if you wanted to point out the map here where they could see it, so that way like from the flowchart.
All right. Where to find the map on the flowchart?
Yes.
Okay. Right here, actually. So digital equity partners map. So I have it linked right here under multiple. And that was the map that we looked at before. And we can also make sure that everyone has access to the flow chart later on, but hopefully with the link that I just put in there, you're able to see it here as well. And we are going to spend a little bit of time actually practicing this and creating an action plan that fills these gaps. So in a minute, we're going to go into a breakout room, going into breakout rooms and practice identifying digital equity or finding digital equities in available resources. So we are going to have three different, oh, let me go to my next slide before, there we go. In each breakout room, you're going to be presented with what I call a case study. Each case study will highlight a fictitious individual with varying digital equity challenges. And based on the digital equity barriers that you find in the case study, you're going to explore resources from today's presentation, or maybe even other resources that you know are available through your agency or your town. You are welcome to work together as a group or discuss the resources as you review them. I would like to have a little bit of time to come back and share when we reconvene, and I know time is of the essence. So I'm thinking if it's 10:49, maybe 6 minutes to just kind of look at the case study and think about putting on your hat as a digital navigator. And if this was someone that you were sitting down with, where you might start and trying to fill the needs or gaps in their digital equity needs. All right, so I think we're going to open up breakout rooms, and we
I
have.
have Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no. How can I help, Jose? I know that
So I
we
have
were.
I'm ready to open the breakout rooms. I thinking four, so there's like about 4 to 5 in each group, or do you think we
Perfect.
should do 5?
No, that's fine. That's fine with me.
Okay, so before I open it, I'm adding here the links. You'll have your breakout room 1, 2, 3, and 4. You will be automatically assigned. So as soon as you get in, based on the breakout room that you're listed, then you would click on that one, and that would be your case study workout sheet.
Yeah, it's a Google Doc, by the way, so you'll have a Google Doc link. All right, we'll come back in 5-ish minutes. My mic again. Sorry about that. All right, I know that probably wasn't enough time. I apologize about that. But I do want to make sure that we saved a little bit of time. I know we have about left before we need to be done, and we want to stay on track today. And I think there is so much richness in the ability to collaborate and discuss. We can quickly, let me go back to sharing my screen. And I think the way the breakout rooms went, we had 3 case studies prepared. I think we looked at 2. We just had different rooms looking at each of those. So let me quickly reshare my screen and we can talk about what we found in terms of resources for Marie and James. I don't think anyone tackled Fatima's. If you want to give it a try, we can put the link in there. You could just put on your digital navigator hats again and think about how you could support that hypothetical individual. But rooms 1 and 2, you had case study. Marie, to kind of sum it up, definitely had limited device access. So anyone that was in room 1 or 2 want to share either some resources that you think would help Marie, or any resources maybe we didn't talk about today that you would think would be a great support to Marie. So rooms 1 and 2, you're on the hot seat. Anyone can jump in.
Okay, I'll say that for Marie, for the limited devices, our program, I know, and EastCon too, I believe, they offer loaner devices where they can come in, they can get a Chromebook, and for $25 deposit that is refundable, they're able to borrow that throughout the length of their program here. And once they return, they get their deposit back. For NEDP, that type of program, this is an adult education, of course, they would need like a regular laptop with a desktop because that comes into play for the proficiency. But loaner devices is a good idea, or what we try to do is refer them to their public library. One of our locations actually is in a public library, so that works out really well too.
Absolutely. Way to go, EastCon. Thanks for sharing. All right. Anyone else want to share anything that any thoughts or challenges or suggestions you might have for Marie and her?
I would try that. I would try that every on that you suggested to look in her area by a zip code to see if we could help her out with internet service and computer purchasing.
It's such a great site and it's so user friendly. All you have to do is plug in your zip code and any other programming that she might qualify for, and it gives you such a robust list of options available. So it really is a fantastic starting point. If you're really not sure where to start, I would definitely agree with you. That is a great starting point as well. Again, if you don't have the access to loaner devices, etc. Cool.
That resource was also available in Spanish, which I know is a barrier for Marie. It had a translation.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, absolutely. Cool.
Daniel Park left a comment, said, I thought that it would be important to walk Mary through some of these resources.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thank you, rooms 1 and 2. You had some great thoughts and reflections and advice, and awesome. All right. Our next 2 rooms, rooms 3 and 4, we're focusing on our case study, James. James has basic digital literacy, but some complex personal barriers. So anyone from room 3 or 4 that focused on James have anything you'd want to share of resources that might be helpful for him?
I can volunteer a little bit. Sure. So we thought securing reliable internet for James would work if he looked into the Frontier Lifeline program. We also thought that he could improve his digital literacy skills using North Star or GCF Learn. And we added a barrier, number 3. In his case study, it said that he was having difficulty filling out online job applications. So we thought it might be a good idea to provide some one-on-one support. Our students in Wallingford register for CT Hires, and we help them do that. They've reduced the number of steps that it takes to register. Once James registers, he could access online job listings and hopefully have some support with the digital navigator, helping him learning how to fill out online forms.
Awesome. I was in room 3. I think, Mary, you had another resource when it came to helping support job access. And so if you want to just throw that in the chat, that was, I thought, a great resource as well. We did not go down that road today, but definitely it's wonderful to have some of these other resources. If you still have that name or link or whatever, if you want to throw that in the chat, that would be awesome.
We love the flow chart. It's awesome.
Oh, thank you. That flow chart was a labor of love.
Yeah, you put a lot into that. Yeah.
Different iterations of this, trying to simplify it. So it was the first time it came, it was pretty funny. We were like, ooh.
Thanks for sharing it. Thank you so much.
Of course. All right. And we didn't talk about Fatima. I will just say that very similar, her story was very similar to James. The one kind of key piece that I had added to her case study was that she was a parent of K-12 students. So some of the resources that we shared today that are specifically geared towards K-12 institutions or K-12 students would be available for her family, again, as she has students that were in the school system. So that just kind of gave us another avenue to explore, but that's okay. So, and again, in our last few minutes here today, any other questions, Jose? Anything in the chat we need to touch on, or we have about 2 minutes?
Well, I don't see anything in the chat.
Okay, cool. Well, then we might be right on time, if not a minute early. So again, I just really want to say thank you for the work that you are doing. It's a tough but wonderful job. If you need any help or support, we are here to help you. If you need any support with digital equity, we have resources available on our site. We are here to also help you with any tech implementation or support strategies. We would love to have an opportunity to sit with you for 20 minutes or more. And by we, I mean Jose and I. That's what we do, and we want to make sure that we can make your life as easy as possible so you can continue to do the work that you are doing to support your learners and agencies and community. So please feel free to schedule a support session, even if you just want to kind of think out loud. We're here to listen and help, and maybe add in our 2 cents where we might have something to help you with. So, all right, and also our digital ATDN website is available on our slides too. All right, well, I think that's it for me with seconds to spare. Yay! All right, so Jose, why don't you tell us about what's coming up next, and then we'll let everyone go take another 10-minute break.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Mary Kate, for the collection of resources and everything that you put into it. Flowchart is amazing as well. Our next presentation is Bridging Classroom and Beyond using digital literacy profiles. Won't talk too much about who's going to present or anything like that, but after 10 minutes, we'll come back onto the new Zoom session and we'll continue our digital navigator training. Thank you so much.